who is like remembering that like, who's fucking to that? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Everybody, because everybody fucked from like day one. but there was a bunch of, there was also like jazz, like hot jazz, and there was. But I can only imagine what it must have been like to go up to freaking Harlem and see Cab Calloway, or just any kind of white bread big band.
Right.
You got 15, 20 people on stage just blowing their brains out. It's like,
Dystopia Tonight. Dystopia Tonight.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
I just came back from Fort Worth, which is pretty supernatural.
Night, yeah.
And yes, driving down Interstate 35 is it's a trip.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful trip.
I love I used to live in Arizona for the longest time, and I also lived out in California, and I would love that trip going back from Cali to Arizona, because there's that stretch where it's just all desert, and I'm just like, oh man, I wonder if I'm gonna see something fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, like I would go late at night and just hope I would just get picked up by some alien or see a chupacabra. I never saw anything cool, but
no, I think you have to go further north, like Sedona.
Oh, and, Sedona.
Sedona, Flagstaff. That's the.
Is that where they had the two lights back in the 90s? Was it Sedona or Scottsdale where they saw those two lights over the mountain back in the day, and it was like all this crazy shit?
Oh, I don't remember.
I may have been. Yeah, when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, Sedona's very trippy, kind of.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I love all that stuff, man. Yeah. Were you into it before you signed up to do the show?
Yeah, I mean, I love the mystery of life, and I'm glad that there's plenty of things that can't be quantified. And I mean, sure, study the brain all you want, and but you still can't explain like the feeling that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you're about to encounter some crazy person in the street, or that feeling that's tells you that something's right, and if you as you get a little older, then you start listening to it and believing it. I love mystery.
Yeah, me too.
Mystery is awesome.
I had this with a couple people, and I'm sure you have it too, where like I will be thinking of my best friend and they will call within that minute.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what did you know? Like, did something happen? And it just happens every time, no matter what it is, no matter where we are. And sometimes we'll go like a couple months without talking, and randomly I'll just be like, I should call, and I'll be like, whatever, and then they'll call me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yes. Indeed.
Roswell's a great show too, by the way. Congratulations. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. I kind of got cut out of the whole second season, but
I was wondering what happened there, but I thought maybe you were going to come back if they.
I did in the third season.
Yeah.
But which they thought never was going to happen because the second season kind of tanked. That was my understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a good thing going, right?
They did.
They had really good-looking teenagers making out, and by the way, there's 3 of them that are aliens. That's plenty. Just go with that, man. And then there's a bunch of adults that don't know shit.
Right.
Like, great. Don't mess with it. It's not broken. And then then I think X-Files was doing really, really, really well. And they thought, we got to bring in some more aliens. We got to get all these plot points, and we got to, get this elliptical fucking, plot thing going on where you only, and it wasn't an HBO show, it was like a, whatever was popular at the CW, I think it was
CW, something like that. Yeah.
And then it switched to some other one, and then I thought it was going to get canceled, and then somebody swooped in and picked up the third season. That was fun. But
you're right. That is a problem with a lot of those shows, is that like they'll kind of go beyond the scope of what they're supposed to be doing, and then try to compete with like the HBO shows who can do whatever they want. So you're like, oh, we're gonna lose. We're never gonna.
Yeah. But it was at the point like Katie Heigl had cut all her hair off, and and, I had like I'd done some other movie and had like all these blonde tips in my hair, which was totally wrong for this nerdy dad that I was playing, Jeff Parker.
Right, you got really cool at some point, like looking like it was. We were like, what happened? What's going on there? But we just didn't question it because everybody loved your character. So we were just like, if he wants to have blonde tips in his hair,
no, I cut it out, dyed it
right.
But it was a surprise to everybody. It was so last minute. It was like a month before they were had to absolutely start shooting, so they would have some episodes to put up on the thing.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, it was really fun. That probably the best part was they shot it on the Paramount lot in Hollywood.
Oh wow!
And that's like you're kind of rolling through the same gates that Gloria Swanson did, and it looks like Sunset Boulevard, the movie, and there's these huge sound stages, and you just know all kinds of shit and ghosts and stuff went down.
I love hearing stories about that on the old lots.
It was beautiful. I mean, it really made you feel like you were, whether you were doing something or not, it made you feel like you were kind of involved in something that was lasting or had history, and that was fun. And all the young actors, they were really they were into it. They realized that maybe a few didn't totally realize that they had just unwrapped their candy bar and there was a freaking gold ticket in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice when they you can tell like the younger guys kind of appreciate where they are and kind of acknowledge it and that kind of shit too. It's because same thing with comedians, man. Sometimes I meet people who are just starting doing comedy and I'm like, oh yeah, Jonathan Winters, blah blah blah, and they're like, who? And I'm like, get the fuck off my stage.
Yes, yeah.
Like come on, man.
The woman who played my daughter, Sherry Appleby, she's directing all kinds of TV shows now. She's a directing fool. And,
nice.
And she had a really good series called, what was it called? It was a dramatic version of the, Bachelorette. And she was just a crappy, kind of third assistant director kind of thing. But then she kind of worked her way up the ladder. It was
nice.
great.
That's awesome, man.
Like Unreal or Unmasked or yeah, she was the lead in that.
Cool.
She's done really well, and obviously Katherine Heigl did great.
Oh yeah, Katherine Heigl.
A few others that did well. But.
I was on the Henson lot before COVID hit because I had a meeting there, and I totally stayed longer than I was supposed to because it used to be Chaplin Studios, used to be the records. Thank you, A&M. Yeah, and I was like. I got done with the meeting and I, you know how it is when you go to those meetings, you kind of go back to, and I was like, I am not going back to my fucking car right now. I just wandered, man, and took photos of shit I probably shouldn't have. And looking in bungalow windows, like trying to see if Miss Piggy was changing. You know what I mean? Anything. Like I was looking for whatever I could find on that lot, dude.
Yeah. They still got some great recording studios there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. And I don't know what else they do. I think it's mainly recording studios now. I don't know. But I mean, or do they still do Muppet things?
No, they still do. The Muppets still own it. They still got Kermit the Frog. Yeah, but
the Muppets actually own it.
I don't know why I said it. This is how good the Muppets are.
It's sort of chaotic. Grover is actually a financial genius.
They have that bear as the security guard. I'm like, totally. Times are tough, and he's that's hilarious. No, I know, me neither. Yeah, that's how good they are at their jobs, though. I actually thought they were real people who ran that studio. These Muppeteers are fucking geniuses. Holy shit. I love that John Doe had to break it to me that they're really not running it. They were like, I don't think you were there. I think you may have walked onto a soundstage.
I'm a believer. John. Why not? Let's just believe.
Exactly, right? That's all you need.
So we have a friend to the I'm sorry. We have a friend of the show that was just asking a couple questions. He wanted to know if Scott Curtis, nice to see you, Scott. He said, can John talk about his friendship with Dave Alvin?
I was going to. I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, can you talk about your friendship with Dave Alvin? See, Scott,
I just saw
got
it. It just popped up on the screen too. Oh, we were just drawn together in the punk rock days. I think I first saw the Blasters in about 78, and they opened for us in San Diego, and we had already been listening to a lot of Sun records. Some of the deeper cuts like Billy C. Riley and Sonny Burgess and things like that. And the Blasters started playing these songs in a style that was way louder than it should have been. And it was not in any way a rockabilly revival kind of, they're not playing Gene Vincent or Eddie Cochran songs or something like that. They're doing their own stuff. And the sound of Phil has such a old fashioned voice, Phil Alvin. And we just got to be pals. And God, I can't even count how many times we've played together. The Blasters and Los Lobos and X just played the Greek Theater like in, I think it was September of 2021.
Oh, nice, man.
The Greek Theater is in LA. It's an open air, pretty fancy, like 6,000-7,000 capacity. And it was beautiful. It was awesome. But Dave and I've written songs together. We've taken illicit drugs together. We have driven drunk, which I'm not necessarily proud of, but we survived somehow and didn't kill either ourselves or anybody else. And we'll see each other in November. I think we're doing one of those cruises of the Outlaw Country cruise, from Sirius XM has Outlaw Country.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. Dave and Jimmy Dale Gilmore are doing a thing with their band, and X and Social Distortion, and I think Lucinda Williams is going to be on that, and it's a bunch of your usual suspects in that world.
Fantastic, man. When is that happening?
I think it's the middle to the end of November.
Sweet.
And it's going out of LA, but it's it's like worth a road trip, and they're not cheap, but it's also not crazy expensive.
No, that'd be totally doable. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Pretty fun stuff. We've done a couple. I did one other with solo, and X actually filled in for somebody who dropped off of the Flogging Molly tour, and that was
I heard that's a fucking blast, man.
It was pretty good. I was not all that excited about it, but it turned out to be great.
Nice.
Super body positive. It was like everybody's in bathing suits, and it's like, let it all hang out, baby, because nobody gives a shit. And you're not 22, and that doesn't matter. And it's like very gender fluid, and I loved it. I thought, if this is what their version of punk rock is, then I'm in. I'm
man,
totally fine with that. Love who you love and be who you want to be, because life's too fucking short.
Absolutely. And, that's the kind of people you do want to be trapped at sea with. You know what I mean? Like, if somehow you're like, these fucking blast, man. Nobody cares about shit.
If the shit hit the fan and you had to get your dystopian team together, it'd be like, oh, I don't know. I think we're all doomed. But what the hell? Nothing bad happened. We did.
That's good. So great.
Pretty fun.
You've been back? How long have you been back out now? After, because you're in Austin, Texas, so I know that Texas had looser restrictions than the rest of the country did. Have you been back out on the road for a while now, or just recently?
A very little bit. I mean, I'm extremely careful because of I'm luckily, knocking on wood here, healthy and fairly vital.
Yeah, you look great, man.
And but I'm a certain age, and I don't want to get my partner sick, and I don't want to get the band sick, and we've got a bunch of stuff planned. I'm going to do a solo tour in June for about 3 weeks, and then X has got a big 6-week tour with the Psychedelic Furs, and
dude,
awesome.
You're hitting all the right spots here, man, because I love the Psychedelic Furs. X and the Psychedelic Furs together is going to be phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
We did a couple, maybe a handful of dates with them in 2018, 2019, something like that.
Nice. Have you known them for a long time?
Not really, no. And I couldn't say that I knew more than their hits, but they're really versatile. And Richard Butler is an unbelievable front man.
Yeah.
And the band is freaking great. They just put out a record in 2020, like X did, right in the COVID times. I think theirs was in September. It's called Made of Rain.
Yeah.
And you would love it if you haven't heard it. It has some unbelievably catchy, but it sound, it's kind of perfect because it sounds, that it's like the psychedelic first as soon as you put it on, but they're not trying to be something they were. They're doing their version of who they are now, but they're not reinventing themselves. It's really, really good. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man, I love that kind of stuff. And it's crazy. I think that what you just described happens to a lot of bands that come back like later on, is that they try to be them who they were years ago instead of kind of trying to go with the, you know what I mean, like trying to discover who they are now.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that. I don't know why that is,
because it's hard. I mean, I think that's one of the things that got in X's way and making a record. Because we talked about it, but we thought, well, we don't know exactly what we want to do, and we're not sure if it's all going to fall together right. And but then some pieces started falling into place. Like Fat Possum released our catalog because we got the masters back, like the first 4 records, and they were really happening. And then we found this producer, Rob Schnaff, who mixed a live record for us, and we thought, oh well, he gets it. So now we got these 2 big pieces, and so then we got to work, and it turned out good. Very happy about it.
When that happens, how involved are you guys as band members in getting your work back? You know what I mean? And like the records back to be re-released. Do you kind of just pass it off to like a legal firm, and then you guys are kept abreast of it, or do you actively have to do stuff? Okay.
You just basically it's not as hard as you think. You have to object to the company. This is, I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. Let me preface this by saying you're asking the wrong motherfucking guy. Okay. But the way I understand it is you have to file a complaint or file some paperwork saying, no, you can't continue to put out these records. It's been 25 years. So we're going to take them back. So you make a claim that you're going to take them back, and then you file some other paperwork, and basically the band just signs on these contracts that are saying we have the right to reclaim this. And I believe it was Blondie that first did that.
Oh wow!
I believe, because there's like a statute of limitations, like a indentured servant kind of freaking. You can't hold somebody for more than this amount, or their intellectual property. I'm not sure what it is, but
it is the same thing for like movies and shit like that, which is why I think the Marvel had gone through that whole thing where, like, if you don't use the Hulk in the next 5 years, it's we get it back or whatever. And then of course, somebody would make a really shitty Hulk movie for like $100, and they'd be like, but we made it.
Yes.
And they get to use their shit anyway, Oh, it's brutal, man. I'm glad you're back out, dude. That's got to be exciting and fucking awesome. Were you big I mean, when the pandemic hit and stuff, and you were, we were locked down, did you kind of use that period to be more creative, or were you just happy to take a break? Like, what was your situation like?
Kind of both. I mean, there was if you're not playing and not touring, you'd be surprised how much time you have.
Yeah. Right.
And to be honest, we're so grateful. We're so fortunate. We're A, white people that have had a lot of advantages. B, X has been very good to us in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And we're not 22 and just blowing it on stupid shit.
Right.
And thinking it's all going to be like this for the rest of our lives. So we didn't struggle with financially. I started working with the 2 guys that made this record that's so nicely placed on either side of me, Kevin Smith and Conrad Chacroon, and they're pros. Kevin tours with Willie Nelson. He's Willie Nelson's bass player, and Conrad has been in a bunch of different bands. He was at that point touring with Patty Griffin, and I called up Kevin in April, I think, of April of 2020, and said, you're just sitting around, right? And he goes, you're damn right. And so I said, can I come over to your patio? And we just started playing, for the hell of it. And I had a couple new songs, then we just kept working on it, invited Conrad over in like a month or so. and then it just started taking shape, and I started kind of tailoring the songs to, a direction, so it'd make a record.
Nice.
And then between then, I would just kind of fuck around. And X didn't do a whole lot of stuff. I mean, we did a lot of press for the Alphabet Land record. And to answer your question before about Texas, I mean, no, I didn't really tour that much. Even like in 2021, X had a little moment. In July of 2021,
right?
And then we did the holiday tour that we usually do on the West Coast in like November, December of 2021. And then in the last show, somebody got COVID, and then we all did. Even though we're all vaxxed and boosted and all that bullshit.
Yeah,
so
yeah, same.
I had to drive home to Texas from San Diego. Couldn't get on a plane. I'm not going to sit in some fucking hotel room for 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I brought COVID home for Christmas. It was lovely.
Oh, very nice.
My partner was thrilled. She was like, Christmas is ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, and it was that Omicron thing, and it was like so contagious. Even though we were really like 2 different parts of the house. We have a little guest room with a bathroom, and that's where I stay.
Nice. Yeah, same thing. I mean, I had it about a month and a half ago now, but nobody's that I know is more careful than me, and I still wound up fucking getting it, and it was brutal. I mean, I did like, I mean, not brutal, just like I was just pissed at myself because I was like, really, you know, I evaded it for 2.5 years, and I fucking wound up getting it. Just pisses me off.
Well, that's what's kind of gives you anxiety going back at it. I mean, it's almost inevitable that no matter what you've done, or you still can't just go willy-nilly and kind of
right.
Anyway,
everybody, well, that's what, like, look at Colbert. Colbert got it twice within a month, I think, or whatever, and had to leave his he got he was really funny about it, but he had gotten it and then had to leave, couldn't do the late show, and then went back to work. And then fucking got it, whatever the new variant was, BA.2.3X57, whatever. And he wound up getting it again. And he was like, could you fucking believe it? And then I was at the Carlin premiere, the documentary, the other night. Yeah. Kimmel was supposed to be there. Or he was supposed to be in town doing something else, I think, because that's what it was. Yeah. And his buddy Dan Pasternak was like, yeah, he was supposed to be here. And he got it again, too. He had just relapsed again and got the new variant. So I don't know, man. It feels like it's never going away.
Híjole. No, I don't think it will.
I want to. You were like I mentioned in the beginning when I said you're a singer, songwriter, actor, poet, guitarist, and bass player. What was the thing you wanted to do when you were younger, though? Like, was it always something in this field, or did you have a completely different direction you were headed in?
Oh, at some point I thought I was going to be a biologist or something.
Oh, nice.
Silly, like you watch a few Jacques Cousteau's and think, ooh, that looks fun.
Yeah.
But then I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade when the Rolling Stones and Beatles and Animals and Zombies and Yardbirds, et cetera, and oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
So I started playing bass when I was about 15 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just that was a point at which the psychedelic movement was all happening, and the Doors were one of my favorite bands, and Janis Joplin and all that shit. So
nice.
Yeah, and it just goes on. But at that point, I mean, during that time period, it sounds really cliche because everybody's talked about it, but there was great radio. James Brown owned a radio station in Baltimore where I grew up, and it's like, fuck yeah.
Ray
Manzarek
from the Doors produced your first album, right?
He did the first 4.
The first 4, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I still miss him from time to time. He was great. He didn't try to pimp us or primp us and fluff us up. He just thought, oh, these guys pretty much know what they want to do. So why don't I just get great performances and make it sound good? Which the first 2 records didn't sound great, but they sounded enough like punk rock to.
Yeah, they sounded like you guys.
Yeah. We were better live. I mean, at that point, they were people were just sort of pulling out of that, like everything is close mic'd and all the damage that the early 70s bands did.
Yeah.
You know? And it was because they wanted everything perfect. You know, I have a friend who's a big lover of Linda Ronstadt, and like, yeah,
same.
she's great, you know. But I tease him to say, you know, listening to a record by Linda Ronstadt, there's not a hair out of place.
Right.
Like everything, every note is like perfect. Because they would comb through it, you know, like, and say, oh, there's one, we'll fix that, and we'll fix that, and we'll fix. It's like, where's the garage band, you know? So
yeah,
we were still recovering from that. I think the punk rock world was trying to make it messier and more crazy and shit like that.
We had a singer songwriter on who's from Texas, but now just moved to Brooklyn recently. Actually, her name is Sarah Jaffe, and she was talking about how on her last album she left in all the imperfections, and she loves it 10 times more.
Oh yeah.
Than any kind of, and that's the kind of, she was like, that's just how I want to do it from now on. I don't want to have, you know, anything too like glossed over.
Well, she's ahead of the game because she's listening to her intuition, and she's keeping it real. You know.
Yeah.
So what's Robert Quine up to these days? I heard you mention that you had just interviewed him.
He is finally, dude. Yeah, he's first of all, he's just a blast. We talked for 2 hours, and one of our friends was like, "Would you let him go to bed? He's 80." And I'm like, "Me?" I'm like, "He's still talking." Like I'm like, he clearly has shit to say. He hasn't, I guess, you know, whatever he's doing. I'm not gonna tell him to go to bed. But yeah, it was hilarious. But he's a great man. He's still as sharp and as fucking funny as ever, and just up on current events and politics. We talked everything, but he's coming. He's coming to New Jersey. He's doing Rowan University. Still doing colleges, by the way. But yeah, he's doing Rowan University in a few weeks, I think. It's coming up, and he hasn't been out on the road in 2 years, so he's finally getting back to it and finally getting back to doing stand up. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna go see him.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's great, man.
Crazy.
Were you? Do you know him? Do you know him at all?
No. I just I'm a fan.
Nice. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'll be glad to hear it. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, when you were starting out, I want to go back real quick to, did you buy your first bass yourself? Did your parents get it? Where did you get your first instrument?
I bought it on time, like weekly payments of $5.
Nice.
I think my mom signed for it.
Oh, cool.
Saying like, I'm going to be the adult, you know, saying this kid's going to do his thing.
All right.
It was a Kent bass.
Okay.
And it looked a little bit like a Hofner violin bass, but it had some little pointy thing at the bottom that made it a little different.
Cool.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But I was really lucky because the guy that was playing guitar with the, quote, band that I was in, he had bought a 1960 jazz bass, which is like one of the most sought after bass guitars. He had bought one from a pawn shop for $150. And, there was a guitar player, there was a piano player. And so I played bass. And because I thought, well, I picked a bass because I thought it would be easier. And as a matter of fact, it was. No offense, Jaco Pastorius and Flea.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's got its own obstacles. But yeah, so I bought that bass from him, which I still have.
It's cool, man. So your parents were fine with you going into music?
Oh no. Hell no. Well, they would do the thing that like any responsible parent would say is like, okay, I guess if you want to do it, And they my dad played piano. He was into classical music. And
oh, nice.
My mom used to sing opera when she was in college. So, they had some artistic leanings, but they were, very straight. They came from Wisconsin. They wanted to, kind of their households were more working class, and they wanted to aspire to being, upper middle class, So, it's like, okay, if you want to do that, but it's a hard life. And of course it is, but just at 16, you go like, what the hell?
Oh yeah. It's so funny. Would you, I always like to ask artists this, man, if looking back though, would you have decided to go into music still if you knew the road? Like it's a hard road, and obviously you've been successful, but if you knew at 16 what you know now, would you have done that? Would you have been like, I'm going to go be a biologist?
No, I absolutely would have gone into
that makes
music.
me feel good.
Yeah. Well, because I'm super fortunate in the
Yeah.
thing, I moved to Los Angeles at the right time, which I think was kind of fate. Exene had moved there, I don't know, 3 or 4 months before me.
Wow.
Billy had been there for a few years, but we all met each other, and we made something that was unique. It didn't set the world on fire, and we're still a little weird for some people. For a lot of people, we don't have like a bona fide hit song or hit record or something, but we've got a lot of street cred, and there's a bunch of young people that come to see us, and that's rewarding. But the reason I got into it after realizing probably before moving to LA, because in Baltimore I was lucky enough to hang around with the John Waters crew a little bit.
Oh, nice.
And became friendly with John and Mink Stoll a little bit. But I saw these people, and they were celebrities in Baltimore. But they were very approachable, and they were kind of like these were kind of fuck ups who John Waters thought, you can be an actor, you can too, and I thought, well, shit, if these people can be famous, I could be famous too. So,
that's fucking great.
And so I moved to LA to be a bohemian, and well, golly, there were a bunch of misfits out there, and I succeeded in that part.
That seems like the time, a great time to go back and do it. It
was.
God, I'm trying to think of her fucking name, and now I'm blanking on it right now. She's a writer. She's really funny. She said a documentary that Scorsese did about her, but she was talking about that time period, like 60s, 70s, 80s. And she goes, every day young people will come up to me on the street, and somebody will say, what was it like living in the, one of those decades? What was it like in the 80s? What was it like in the 70s? She goes, but when I was a kid, nobody ran up to my parents or my grandparents who was like, what were the 30s like? She's like, there's something about those time periods that everybody, it's unquestionable how great they were to be around in.
I wish I would have run up to her parents and said, what was it like in the 30s? Because that really, like the 20s and 30s really does fascinate me. That was before everybody knew we could blow ourselves to oblivion.
Oh yeah, I know.
In the after World War II. But anyway, it was.
What's weird about that time though is the music around that time. Sometimes I'm like, what was it? Did they respond to music in the same way we do? Where we're like, oh man, I fucking love this song. This is gonna be a hit, or this is what I'm gonna fuck to. And then was it like, oh, you think it was then too?
I definitely.
Oh, wait. So it had to be, but I can't I really any other decade. I can be like, oh, I totally get it. I understand what this is. But then it gets to the 30s, and it's like that, fucking, I don't even know what you'd call it. I can't
like swing like that.
Yeah, who is remembering that who's fucking to that? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Everybody. Everybody. Walked from day one. but there was a bunch of there was also jazz, hot jazz, and there was, but I can only imagine what it must have been like to go up to freaking Harlem and see Cab Calloway, or just any kind of white bread big band.
Right.
You got 15, 20 people on stage just blowing their brains out. It's like, ooh,
yeah,
I think I'm gonna jitterbug. That's pretty insane.
Yeah,
you see the way they're throwing people around, and
they all seem to know how to do that too. I don't know if it's just my shitty perception of music and shit like that, but I mean, I guess everybody knew how to fucking I don't know, but my grandparents all knew how to dance like that. My great grandparents also knew how to dance like that. Today, I can't fucking dance the way people I know dance.
No, because the society is broken down, and that's why your podcast is called Dystopia Tonight, because we're living in it. You're soaking in it, Madge.
Exactly.
So what did people used to say a few years ago? Oh, the apocalypse just happened.
Yeah.
Or the rapture just happened, and Bowie and Prince got taken.
Dude,
The apocalypse has already happened. We're just sort of living off the corpse. But no, I hope not. God, I hope not.
I hope not too, man, because I feel like, but I feel it. 2016 was like all those people got like a cyanide capsule or like a ticket out of here. They left before the fucking shit hit the fan. You had said something about becoming a biologist, and I don't know why my brain immediately. Well, you mentioned Jacques Cousteau.
Yes.
Here's what I love about celebrity, and I feel like when I was a kid, I thought that this is a better trajectory, right? Because I wanted to be like, I loved space stuff, astronauts, like sciencey shit. Not good at any of it, right? But you were like, I want to be a biologist, but I didn't go in that direction. I always thought like John Denver wasn't a biologist, but he fucking got to hang out with Jacques Cousteau because he was John Denver. And I was like, that seems like the route to take. I don't have to know anything about animals. I get to write a song about a boat and then hang out with the guy who explored. Yes, I'll write.
That's the way to. That is totally the way to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I always, when I was a kid, I would watch those nature shows on Animal Planet, and it would be like, Robin Williams would be hanging out with monkeys and shit, and Jim Carrey swim with dolphins. I'm like, I'll tell some jokes and get to do that shit.
That was your life hack. I get it.
Maybe we'll just keep plugging away, and maybe someday we'll get invited to do something fun with a snake or whatever. Yeah.
I just want to take John to the Bronx Zoo and change his life.
Yeah, really. You know what though? We actually, I think with the Psych Furs, we got to play the Portland Zoo and the Seattle Zoo. And the Portland Zoo, they had some animals backstage that you could kind of like get up close and personal with. They would have handlers, and
that's cool.
One was this really freaky, beautiful owl, and another one was kind of like a pangolin, if you know what that is. It's the scaled anteater type thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great animal.
It wasn't that. It was like a South American I don't know what it was.
Oof.
But it was cool as shit, man.
That's so deep.
And then you got to, then you had to go play. It was great.
Right?
I'm with you. Any scientists that are listening or watching or whatever, we're in.
We're on it. We want to do it. You know what? I'm gonna get us booked on a safari. I don't know where we're gonna play. I'll tell 5 minutes of jokes. You do your songs, and then we'll go. Sure. We'll go ride a giraffe.
Yeah, I can. No, you can't ride giraffe. That's cruel.
No, you're right.
What does a giraffe think of it? Come on, John. Get off my back, you dipshit. You, guy with the beard, off my back.
See, John Doe doesn't know how small John Poveromo is.
I'm pretty short, man. This is pocket size.
Okay.
I got this at a Build-A-Bear.
John has ridden up to the stage on a Great Dane before. I think you're gonna wear the giraffe.
Oh,
whoa, nice. Marmaduke! Whoa!
Oh man. God!
Yeah, I would love to do that kind of shit. There's this animal. There's this girl who does. She's like really big on social media or Instagram or whatever, but she's an actual animal trainer. And I've been like thinking about I should have her on the show. Like, but I'm like, what would be we'd have to wait to do a live one. What am I gonna do? Have her drag on some kind of badger like on the screen? You can't. You got to jackhammer that. You got to Johnny Carson that shit and be in the room.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. It would be less rewarding.
Yeah.
However, that may be your get the foot in the door. That may be your entry point. To later on, when things lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah. I'm gonna have you on this show.
It'd be a first.
It would. You know what? That's a great. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
You can't see it, but you can hear it. Like, can you possibly encourage the animal to make a noise?
You can't see it, but you can hear
people,
it.
People know that it's real. We're not just pretending. You've got a fucking sock puppet instead of an actual sloth.
Oh my God. I just imagine she leaves after I ask her, could you just squeeze the baby elephant so we can get like just right on
no. This interview is over.
Yeah.
She closes her laptop.
Dude, the other day I was coming home and it was like 3:00 in the morning. I was with my friend and she and I are driving back from a wedding and I saw an owl and I think she thought I was having a hard, because I pulled over real fucking quick, but like he was chilling out on the side of the road I guess he must have just killed something. It must have been like something dead in the road or whatever. Yeah. But like I saw the owl and I immediately went like,
right. Oh like, God,
what happened? I was like, shut up, there's an owl. And she's like, are you crazy? Just like, and I was like, no, shut up. And I got a picture of it, and I'm sure the owl was like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Like, he's just trying to eat his dinner.
Yeah,
but I'm a lunatic for animals. I love it.
Well, we share that.
Great.
Maybe that's our secret. Well, not a secret anymore. I was going down a country road here in Texas, and I see a stick at the end of the road, and it's like, oh, that stick is very straight. It's about 2 feet long, maybe 3, and I slow down and I get out, and it's a snake, and it's a coral snake.
Ooh,
which is like red touch yellow, kill a fella, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, I grabbed my phone and I took a little movie of it. It's on my Instagram thing.
Oh, nice.
It was so exciting. People were going, "You're out of your mind." It's like, no. I'm 10 feet away from the damn thing, but it was fast. It was cool as hell.
Yeah. I gotta send you now. I'm gonna have to send you some videos on Instagram. So when I used to work at a state park. And they had red fox there.
Oh yeah.
And we were not, the whole thing. You're not supposed to feed them, but I'm working till like midnight, the 1 a.m. shift, and they're out and about. I named all of them because they were, they all had like one had a limp. I named him Michael J. There was another one that was a little darker. I named him Jamie. And then there was, Vivica A. Any kind of celebrity with a fox name I gave names. But there's video. Because I could say this now, I'm not working there obviously anymore. But I used to give them dog biscuits that we had for the dogs inside the thing. But one time I was like, I want one to come in the gatehouse with me, and I left the door open, and I just put one down to see if because he was the one I used to feed by hand,
right?
And I used to because they were so used to people. It was a state park and a beach, so they would come up to people and steal sandwiches and chill out on the and there's a video of him actually coming in, but he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh God.
But I never did it again. But it was funny because I would go outside and I would just hand him the biscuit and he would take it and run off, and I would see him where he wasn't that bright. He'd like hide it in the beach, come back and take another one and go hide it not too far off, and I'll be like, I can see where you're putting your food, guy. Like there's no there's no big mystery here if I really wanted to get it. But
I guess he felt secure with you. He thought,
yeah, he must have.
That guy's just giving away these biscuits. He doesn't know.
This fool, he could be eating them himself. Oh man. Yeah, there's another picture I have of him too. He's sitting on the bench, on a people bench. We had for whatever. And because I had sat there and I had given him a sandwich and I got up. And when I went back to go sit back in my seat, he was sitting in there. And I don't know if he was doing it in like kind of like a I am also people. And now you can give me a whole sandwich. Like instead of just, I was like, what's your deal? But he was really, he was a good guy. He was friendly as shit.
Yeah.
Love
animals.
Me too. Back to music. I'm sorry we took that deal.
No, what the hell? I talk about this crap all the time.
Oh, fantastic.
Talk about something different.
Yeah, right. That's what I agree. So what is you're coming back out? You're coming to the East Coast. I know that you'd said that you're coming to the East Coast, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent.
Playing DC and Philly, a couple places. We're playing Queens and Brooklyn.
Oh, nice.
Was going to play the City Winery in Manhattan, but then Shlomo, who kind of runs the joint, got a really sweet offer for some private party, and he said, "Okay, well, we'll do it another time." And I said, "Sure, it's fine."
Oh my God.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
And then Boston, and actually the one I'm most excited about is we're playing Levon's Barn up in Woodstock.
Oh, that's really cool.
Very cool, man.
Marshall Crenshaw and myself, and gonna have the folk trio along, and yeah, it'll be good. It sounds just like the record.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
When are you gonna be in DC?
14th.
Oh, of June.
Of June. Actually, it's not DC. We're playing Vienna, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
A place called Jam and Jabba.
Oh, nice.
I played it several times before. Good place.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll be. I was asking because I'll be in DC in July, but figured if you're in the same area. Yeah, but I'm coming out to Brooklyn to see you either way.
Sure.
Do you, when you were transitioning from music though to other avenues, like when you decided to act, what was the impetus to do that, man? I mean, was it just like, hey, I'm more than just this. I want to, because you were talking about John Waters and stuff and doing that kind of stuff. But when did it hit for you, like to be like, I'm gonna do something different?
Well, I'll give Allison Anders credit for, giving me a opportunity. The first real movie that she and Kurt Voss and Dean Lent, they had all gone to UCLA together. It was called Border Radio, and she had cast a couple of other LA musician types. It was 83, maybe 84. And so she asked me if I wanted to be in it, and it was rewarding. It was fun. And then there was the agency that booked X. They had a theatrical department, and this woman, Maggie Abbott, had worked with some other musicians and put me up for a couple of roles, and I auditioned, and it went on from there. It was a lot of on-the-job learning. I didn't really take any classes until I worked with Harry Dean Stanton.
I love Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Oh man.
But it was kind of a misbegotten movie called Slam Dance.
Oh wow.
It was just tried to do too much.
Okay.
What's his name? Oh God, this is terrible. The lead in Mozart.
Oh fuck. Oh my God, I can see his face.
Yeah.
Wait.
Anyway,
Tom, you got this one or
Tom Hulse.
Tom
Hulse.
Yes.
Yeah. He was the lead, and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was in there, and Virginia Madsen was in it.
Oh, she's great.
And I think even Adam Ant had a bit part in it. But anyway, I got Harry Dean and I were detectives, and it was sort of a film noir. But Tom Hulse was a like a cartoonist. Anyway, it was just all mixed up. But I did some scenes with Harry Dean, and I realized I was just getting left in the fucking dust. I mean, he was just being this character, and I was like, just trying to catch up.
Right.
So then I did take some classes, did scene study and improv and some junk like that. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
No big shakes.
He was. Yeah, he was great, man. I remember watching a bunch of he was in a lot of stuff when I was a kid. Harry Dean Stanton, and I would just see him either small roles or big roles. He was everywhere when I was a kid. Yeah,
he had an incredible presence. And the last thing he did, called, what was it called? So it was kind of a tribute to his life.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep, Lucky.
Yeah, that was really great. But
that was really good. I saw him out of the blue in a half a second in the Avengers movie that came out in 2012, the first Avengers movie. And I was like, I think I was the only one who shouted Harry Dean Stanton in the theater, and people were like, what the fuck are you talking? And I was like, it's Harry Dean
Stanton. Yeah, he was amazing. It was, but he lived a long life. I think he lived a lot longer than he thought he would. Harry Dean could put away some freaking bourbon. Jesus.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great to hear.
Almighty. Oh, Lordy Lord.
Yeah.
But he was from Kentucky, so he could do that. He was raised up like that. But I mean, I don't do a whole lot. Actually, I was going to do a part, just a day's work on Reservation Dogs, which I think is a pretty great series.
Yeah.
I was going to do that tomorrow, but then my partner fell and broke her collarbone. So
no.
I said, look, guys, I got to take care of the family here.
Yeah.
But and there's another movie that I shot with my friend Kurt St. Thomas, who used to work at WFNX up in Boston, and we made a movie together years ago. And he's in 2017, he said, we're going to do a remake of DOA, the film noir movie, and you're going to be the guy.
Oh, nice.
It's okay, sure, I'm in. And then I didn't hear from him for 6 months, and I thought, oh well, that was a fun, fantasy. And then he called me up and said, we're going to do this movie, and I said, sure, yeah, I'm in. And it took 2 years, but we finally shot it in 2019, I think.
Oh,
and it's done, and it's really good. It's all black and white. It's all period. I got to be the main guy, and that was both wonderful and terrifying, as you can imagine. And,
when's it coming out?
I don't know. We're looking for a distributor. We got turned down for a few film festivals. We entered a few more.
Wow.
And but film festivals have been pretty tough because they had like a 2-year fucking backlog.
Yes.
Of films that they wanted to program.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm
cool,
sure it'll see the light of day. It was fun.
Yeah, I hope so. I remember that. I remember seeing the first one.
Yeah, Edmund O'Brien, where he goes into the police station and said, "I want to report a murder," and he goes, "Oh yeah, who got murdered?" And he goes, "Well, I did."
Yeah,
because he gets poisoned, and then it's all told in flashback. And
I love that's like that hooks you right away. You know, they always talk about great writing and what you should get when you're writing a book or anything, a book, an essay or whatever, and they got to get them and draw them in the first line. That's a fucking great way to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Some good images and then just get the audience on your side.
Yeah.
What
was it? What was it like being in Roadhouse?
Oh, it was a shit show. It was so much fun. Oh my God.
That's great to hear.
My favorite person that I worked with all the time was this wrestler named Terry Funk.
Oh wow.
And
awesome.
back in the I think 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They're both from Texas. He and his brother, Dory and Terry Funk, the Funk brothers.
Wow.
And they sort of, were on the line of like heels or heroes or what do they call? They don't call them heroes. Heels and whatever. But anyway, Terry Funk was funnier than shit, man. He was so funny. And there was a point in Roadhouse where I was waving a knife at Patrick Swayze. And the script said, "Come on, chicken dick, come get me," or something like that, or chicken shit. What are you, chicken shit? Or come on, chicken shit, come and get me. Right. And I thought, oh, this is so cliche. I mean, chicken shit. How many times have you heard that?
Yeah.
So I turned to Terry and I said, "Come on, man, give me something. What can I say instead of chicken shit?" He goes, "How about chicken dick?"
So much better. I was just about to say that.
And there's several people that have come up and commented on my use of chicken dick.
That is fucking hilarious. Yeah,
but
I think
insane.
that
it was insane. I mean, Ben Gazzara was in it.
Yeah,
and well, obviously Patrick Swayze, Kelly Willis was in it, and Sam Elliott was in it. I didn't work with Sam Elliott very much, maybe one day, but they just spent so much money and so many stuntmen, and they would have these bar fights where they would have a cue where something would happen, and the entire bar would just go into this brawl.
Oh shit!
And there'd be like 40 some stunt people, men and women, and all different clothes, and they were just like erupting. It's like everybody's throwing punches, everybody's falling on tables, everybody's getting thrown across the room, and it's like, what the fuck? It was great.
That's great. I love that movie's like stood the test of time and has become this cult classic. It's one of those like anytime it's on TV, I just stop whatever the fuck I'm doing, and I'm like, gotta watch Roadhouse.
Well, it actually was kind of a bomb when it first came out. The first thing that Joel Silver did that didn't do that well. He had done like Die Hard and Predator and some other, something else, and then he did that, and it was like a big bomb.
Yeah,
nobody wanted to see Patrick Swayze being a badass, ripping somebody's throat out.
Yeah, man.
They wanted to see romantic Patrick Swayze, and Dirty Dancing, and
right,
the Ghost movie and stuff like that.
Oh, the Ghost movie. Yeah, whatever.
But he was a sweet guy.
Oh, that's cool.
He was a good, hard worker.
Wow.
He and I forget the name of the main henchman that he had the big, battle royale with towards the end.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but he was an actual Navy SEAL. So
holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a scary undertone. It was like, oh,
wow,
probably have actually killed people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, it's going to be a pointless story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. It's not even a story. I literally was reading something about another movie. I know. It's like, what are you even bringing it up for? Yeah. No, but there was a movie that was just out, and same situation. One of the dudes that they had hired to play this role was like not an actor, and he was literally like I can't, he was like ex-Marine or whatever the fuck it was, and they said he was terrifying. They were like, I think this guy might actually wind up stabbing, like, because they had to do a scene with weapons.
Yes.
And they were like, okay, yeah, you're getting a little too close to
like, that's not close.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll show you close.
Yeah. And they're like, I think maybe we should just, hold off or do like a CGI thing, or because he was like really into it. Wild.
Yeah.
It's gotta be intense.
It's that was fun. I would say that was like top 10 of like, let's go see the carnival. Let's go. And they would do incredible shit. Like they built an entire showroom, like an auto showroom, 30 miles north of LA.
Yeah.
And, put like 3 or 4 cars in there, had like, 20-foot walls of glass because it was an auto showroom. Wow, and then they drove a monster truck through it. They just built the whole damn thing, put up about 8 cameras and said, okay, go, 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 go. And then they just drove this thing and like went, crushed all the fucking cars.
Incredible.
It was totally incredible.
It's why I love when they can still do practical effects. And I don't care what it is. When they're dedicated and they say, what was Werner Herzog? I don't know if are you into the like the Star Wars stuff? Do you like that kind of shit? Or okay. So Mandalorian was coming out. Right. And they were talking about, they had Grogu, like the baby Yoda character or whatever. And, Werner Herzog's in a bunch of those scenes with him or whatever. And then they're filming. So they actually did have a puppet that they had the Henson Company create. And then, they get done doing whatever. And then they were like, all right, now we have to do that again because we're going to dub in, the CGI in case the puppet doesn't look good. And Werner Herzog called them all, he was like, pussies, cowards. He's like, everyone was like, what the fuck? And he was like, just just do the job and use the regular. And then they didn't use any CGI. They were like, he's right. Yeah. Let's just get it right. And whatever.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
For him.
Yeah. Right.
He gets another, if he needed it, he gets yet another little check mark at the end of his name.
Right.
Yeah, for being a fucking badass. Cowards. Yeah. It's so cool. I just saw a thing. Yeah, right? Like, oh, holy fuck. Fine, we'll leave the puppet in. I just saw a thing recently too, which I feel like, depending on the week, Tom Cruise is and isn't popular or whatever, but I always give that dude credit for like, he did another stunt for the latest Mission Impossible movie. I don't know how the fuck this guy survives it or just gets the balls to it. He drove a motorcycle off of a cliff, and it's actually him doing it, and then had one of those I don't know what they're called. They look like flying squirrels, man. The flight suit. and that's all him. And I'm like, that I got to give him credit for that, man. He may be, kind of a nut, I guess, for the Scientology stuff, but I'm like, I don't even know why I'm being delicate about it. Like
he was being delicate just in case John Doe was a Scientologist. That's what he.
well, one, I don't know if you're actually friends with Tom Cruise, so I'm like, and he's kind of he's got that thing with the, but he's a fucking whack job.
I think
he does those stunts.
He probably did it. I would say the people that do stuff like that, they do it through will.
Oh.
Like they know that they can do this and they just will it to happen.
Yeah, I think that makes
will
a lot
is the
of
most
sense.
important thing.
Yeah, that does make sense because if I feel like I'm a pretty good driver and I feel like there's certain things like if I've driven through blizzards and all that other shit to get to gigs and I have my friends have been with me during that shit and they're like I would have been pulled over, huddled into and I'm just like no, I'm just gonna be able to drive through it. It'll be fine.
Well, a fun fact going back to Roadhouse and was that the stunt coordinator was this guy Charlie Picerni, who's pretty famous stunt coordinator, and he did a lot of the Smokey and the Bandit stuff with Burt Reynolds and all that kind of crap. So he had a lot of respect because he had done all this shit. He had also directed some of those, and one like there was one of the first stunts where my character got thrown through a plate glass window or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to him and I said, look, I don't necessarily want to do this, but if I have to, and you can coach me, I will.
Mm-hmm.
But and he goes, no, you're an actor. There's stuntmen that get paid for that, and they get paid in order to feed their family, and you get paid to feed your family and do whatever the hell you want to do. Let them do their job, because if you get hurt, there's no more fucking show.
Wow, that's a good point.
And I thought, oh, well, here's somebody who's a little bit older than me, who's really freaking been through it and smart.
Yeah.
Huh. I think I'll do that. I think, but God bless Tom Cruise, or,
whatever, shampoo
Fairbanks and, Douglas Fairbanks and all these people, Burt Lancaster and all these people that used to be acrobats and they could do all that stuff. Cool.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I agree. It is kind of interesting. I never thought of that before. That you're basically taking work away from somebody else, though. If you're the actor and you're insisting on doing your all stunts, you're kind of gypping people out of, their livelihood. Becomes like a dick swinging contest, I guess, at some point where they're like, it's like, but like I think Jackie Chan, I think is the dude, like that guy, I think blows everybody. Yeah. Like at least that makes sense. Cause this is a guy who came from that world into acting as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know that I wouldn't be able to do any of that shit. I can't even, I've always wanted to, like, what I want to do? I want to fly. And I know that's ridiculous. Like well, actually, what if I just went completely crazy? And I'm like, I just want to jump off a building. But I want to actually, like, I'm not a big fan of flying. I know I've flown everywhere forever just because of, traveling and stuff. But I think in my head, I feel like if I were actually in control, maybe I'd be able to get over the complete fear of not knowing what's going on in an airplane when I'm up in the sky.
Right.
But I also am too big of a pussy to actually attempt it, because I feel like
I can make this happen. I have a guy.
Do you really?
I have a guy that flies, that we could pay him to fly us anywhere. I was going to take him down to Pittsburgh recently because it's my brother-in-law's good friend. We just have to pay fuel and this and that. But they said once you're in the air, he'll let you take the controls. And
oh shit, dude, we got to do it. I'm terrible. I'm already that's incredible. John, you want to come?
No, I don't. Because musicians and small aircraft have a terrible relationship.
That's true.
Starting with like Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Otis Redding and many, Patsy Cline and
one more name, and I'm not going up with this guy either.
The first time I went on a small plane, I did kind of freak out a little bit because I didn't know we were doing it, and we were walking out on the tarmac or whatever. And because we were like, go like an hour or something like that or whatever. But in my head, I had no idea what we were flying in. And I went to go get on the plane, and my friend was walking out, and he said he saw me go completely white, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, you didn't tell me you were flying on La Bamba Airline." Like, and he was like, "You don't mention the name before you go on." I was like, "Well, that's what I'm thinking." So, like,
you're in a Volkswagen Bug that's got wings. Right? It's going like this while you're getting ready to take off.
Exactly. Like, and the whole time I'm just like, is it supposed to be doing it? Yes. Is it supposed to be doing? Yes.
Yeah. Well, you got to look into the squirrel suit. That'd be my suggestion.
I love those. I follow this whatever the company is that does those new jetpack things where like the Navy dudes are like flying from boat to boat or something like that.
Yep.
I think I could do that. Amazing. Those are amazing.
I could barely handle riding a scooter. I don't think I could do that thing.
Oh.
On the other hand, John, they're probably very environmentally friendly. Those fucking jetpacks. There couldn't be any fumes coming out of that. It's gonna fuck up the ozone. No. Just perspective. I don't want to kill your buzz, man, but I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're totally right. I never thought of that. As they're flying from ship to ship, there's like a bunch of dead fish that are piling up underneath them.
Exactly.
Anything that touches surface level is dead.
I think it would be a great show to see you do it with Ed Begley Jr. I think that would be the
Oh
ideal.
yeah. Then Ed Begley would beat you to a bloody pulp.
I think he could do. We had him on about a year ago, and he's still that dude. It blows me away, man, because he is still climbing to the roof. He told us, he was like, "Yeah, I was just on the roof the other day, putting in a solar panel." I was like, "Don't you have people for that? Why is Ed Begley?" And he's like, "Nope, like to do it myself." And I was like, "That is fucking wild."
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
good for
so
him.
cool, man. Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
the talk, walk the walk.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for setting me straight on the jetpack thing. Now I don't have to.
That's all right. No, you mull it over. Just don't want you to take many rash decisions.
You're right.
You know,
I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll stay on the ground. Somebody's gonna offer me, and I'm like, John Doe said no, and I'm gonna go.
Oh God, no! Don't put it on me. Come on, brother. It's like, oh yeah, Buzzkill Doe. Yeah. Don't talk to him about your dreams because he'll shoot him down. Fuck that guy.
Oh my God.
I'm a nice enough person. I'm a nice enough person. I could probably use some, bad press.
Oh no. I don't want to do anything. This is gonna be good. Dude, I want to thank you so much for coming. It's been I can't believe an hour has gone by already. It's fucking wild.
Well, man. Look at that. There we go. It's
actually
1 hour and 7 minutes.
I know I kept you over 7 minutes. I apologize.
That's okay. But I want everyone to give a listen to this Fables in a Foreign Land. We're going to be out in your town. Look it up on the website, thejohndoe.com. It's 2 E's, THEE, like old English, John Doe. And
excellent.
Yes, it's a very heartfelt, beautiful, and scary record.
Love it.
It's frightening.
And again, love the artwork again too, man. It's
Thank
perfectly
you.
kind of captures everything that's in the album and on the songs and stuff. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got to ask you we're going to plug all of that too when the episodes come out. And I want to ask you the big 3 questions that we ask every guest on the show. You ready? Okay, great.
Lightning
First
round?
question. Yeah. Lightning round, but also take your time. So first question is, if you can go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
Trust my intuition.
Nice.
If the little voice is saying, "Oh, you're not going to like that," I don't think, you're not going to like that in another 6 months or 6 years. Don't put it on the record. Which you probably hear that, and then you go, then someone gives you a bunch of logical bullshit as to why it might be good. And then you go, "Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense." And "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." And "Oh yeah," and then, but there's still that little voice is saying like, "No, man.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. Don't do that."
Nice.
Yeah. So as I've gotten older, I've listened to my intuition much more.
Beautiful. I like that a lot. Awesome. Second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
Apart from toxic relationships, that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
That's not original. I would say in the last 2 or 3 years, not understanding the destructive quality of my ego.
Ooh.
Yeah. So anytime I'm defending myself, I try to stop, drop, and roll and say, hold on, why am I defending myself? Maybe I can learn something. I know this is very Zen and that's philosophical, but I truly didn't understand it. And I mean, ego is good to a point, so you can define who you are, I suppose. But I mean, if people didn't,
that's a really deep answer too, because you're the first person to ever bring up ego, which I really like, because you're right, it can be used effectively, like if you can kind of hone it, because if you don't have an ego in this business, then you're going to get crushed.
True.
But at the same time, you can use it, like I like the way you pointed it out, is that it can be harmful to you too, and it can be harmful to people around you. Yeah,
especially in your personal life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great advice. And then the third question is just tied into the show. It's goofy as shit. So if this was a genuine dystopia, and even worse than we're in now, like alien zombies, comet heading toward the Earth, everybody knows it's their last day.
Yes.
How is John Doe going out?
Oh. So many things in so little time. Well,
and it could be anything.
I'd probably get a pack of cigarettes. That's one thing.
Nice.
'Cause I had a good run smoking cigarettes. I'm really glad that I quit.
Okay.
I would.
No one ever tells you how cool it looks, but I've never. But I think in my head I'm a smoker,
Totally.
but I don't. Yeah, it looks
Absolutely.
fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just watch the Out of the Past movie with Robert Mitchum and Jane Greer and Kirk Douglas.
Okay.
Out of the Past. It's like the best smoking movie ever.
Really?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Some good tequila. Although I totally support sobriety. I've cut back substantially from the old days, thank goodness. Nice. And I'd probably go out to nature with my family and partner.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
I want to know what type of tequila. Yeah, that's
I don't know. I don't know. Well, what is the Lalo is kind of a new tequila. It's very sippable.
Ooh,
you know,
gotcha.
I like just a little sip of tequila. Not a people that pound shots of tequila are just amateurs, and God bless them. God bless them.
Agree.
It is a transcendental. You know, it is made out of a cactus or a succulent, so it does give you visions.
Yeah, tequila's my favorite. That's my drink of choice everywhere.
Although I do support sobriety, I do support all kinds of hippie shit like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Thank you so much for coming on and spending time with us. I really appreciate it, man. It was a blast.
Good time. We had a lot of laughs. I hope the people enjoy it. And it wasn't
No, it was great, man.
I hope it wasn't too pointless. Okay. Do I need to stay on the line because it's got to upload or some stuff like that?
No. You're good. You're good, man.
To go.
Okay. Yeah, you're good to go.
There's some new platforms that I was unaware of, and I just said, okay, cool, see you later, and like went click, see you, and they said, and they're like suddenly tick tick tick. Oh shit, you got to come back on the line. We have to upload this thing for like 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about. I can't think of the name, but I did the same thing in an interview like a week ago. I didn't know, and I left. And the guy was like, I'm sorry, could you come back on?
Yes. Re-enter the chat room or whatever the hell. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. But
a pleasure. Continued. Good luck.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
I'll see you up on the East Coast, and otherwise I'll see you later.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Thanks so much, man. Peace. Have a great one. Night.
Dystopia Tonight.